All right, let's get it going, family. Let's get it going. It is showtime. It is showtime here at Gye-Nyame Journey. I'm gonna give y'all some time to come on in the house. All right, family. I want to welcome everybody in. I want you to know, welcome to the congregation of the mighty. This is Gye-Nyame Journey Media. I am your host, Brother Hatim. This is Tribal Quotes, and of course, you know this is a Heart of a Simple production where we strive to blow up your old pit. Oh, I was hesitated. Explosion there. What's going on? What's going on, family? What's going on? It's time for us to gather and rapitate about these folk. About these tribal quotes, and also for us to have conversation about all things having to do with life. Of course, the proverbs will help us solve all of the problems the way the ancestors work. Family is a beautiful thing. I just want to make sure that everybody know that the call lines are open at 614-556-4535. Once again, call lines are open 614-556-4535. I just went up, I just got up on Facebook, and my sister Jackie is clowning me. Your boy getting out. Remember when I moved in? That was the summer he dropped Boom Bye Ya, Boom Bye Bye. That was our jam. Boom Bye Bye on the Body Boys Ed. Uh, Go ahead, Jackie. She keeps me informed, keeps me up with the news. Maybe she'll call in tonight and bless us. Shouts out to whoever is listening. I don't know who's listening. I'm trying to find where they have our our show up on Facebook so that I can post in it to let you know the call lines. I know because I speak kind of fast, and I know sometime y'all miss what I'm saying. So I want to make sure that you know. I want to make sure you know where the call lines are. So call in number once again, line, the call in line. I wish I could speak it. I wish I could type as fast as I talk. Call in line is open at 614-556-4535. I never thought I would be engaged with computers in a way that I am in this modern day and time. But hey, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. I got to give me another. I'm gonna give me another screen so that I can go on and keep up with everything that I need to keep up with. Um, oh, let me put it on here. Call-in lines open. So people that might be tuning in on YouTube, 614-556-4535, and let's discuss these proverbs. So family, once again, I want to welcome you and I want to thank you, those of you that take the time to sit down and commune with us and have these serious conversations, whether we are um, talking about things during the daily toast. I know I haven't been keeping up with the news like I should, but it seems like all the news is based on, um, as my brother Allende would call it, the brainwash. You know what I'm saying? So one of the things that's close to my heart is this whole piece about reparations. I know a lot of people don't agree with me because they're never gonna give it to us. But just because they're never gonna, you know what I'm saying? They're not supposed to give it. We supposed to force their hand. We supposed to make it happen. We got to make it happen for our future generations. And the one thing that everybody needs to know that I'm a firm believer reciprocity. I mean, I know sometimes people call in and I go off on talking when when they get into all the spiritual talk and stuff like that. So y'all can feel free to call in and attack me on it too. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't believe that I'm caught up in a delusion. But one of the things about reciprocity, about all the spiritual principles, I think one of the things that kind of separate how we operate as a people or should operate as a people is that the spiritual beliefs are a guide and we are the actors. It's a script and we are the actors. That means that the script is just laying there on the table if we are not active in it. And when I talk about reciprocity, I'm not talking about waiting for the cycle to come around to us. We have to demand from the universe and everybody around us what it is that we feel that we deserve, what it is we do deserve. And One of the things that I want to drop on y'all, I want y'all to think about this. Part of the issue with what's going on in the politics today is that we have some pretty ugly things rearing their head. And part of the issue that I think that we are facing is shouts out to Miss Cindy Johnson. Peace to all. Hopefully, I just typed it out. I ain't typing nothing in. Peace. Um, One of the things that I want to stress is that for those, I mean, because we in America, and there's some stuff that we have to really, really start dealing with. I'm tuned in on YouTube. It's Sister Cynthia. Okay, I like to get. All right, you want some bottles of ambrosia? All right. I mean, if you, like I said, you want this rough one, girl. There's some rough stuff here. You know what I'm saying? I got about it looked like about 3.5 gallons. That don't say 20. No, that's not 20. She said 20. I ain't got no 20 gallons. I got about 3.5 gallons of regular, and I got some lemon lime. So I call that the Justice League. And I got you. So we'll talk. We'll talk. Um, but shouts out to Sister Cynthia. But now back to where I was on. That because America is in denial of its past. I seen a sister. Well, I don't, you know, maybe a ally. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Somebody sent me a text and she had what she called a shut the fuck up moment. And she was telling people about America and what America stands for. And she went through all the struggles. And one of the things that bothered me about it, because what she was kicking was some real information. And she talked about how America was oppressing this and how America was exterminating that. But she never ever crossed a, she never crossed the line of talking about African Americans, what was done and what was owed. And one of the things that's holding America back is that America has not dealt with its past. And we know that humans, when they don't deal with their past as individuals, we know that we are plagued and that we have problems. This country will continue having problems, deep psychological problems, as long as we don't address the past. We want to act as if it's not the as if what black folks in America has went through is nothing and it's the same as everybody else. And we have to, those of us that are in the know of that, we have to make sure that people know. We have to be in rooms and and in many cases make people feel uncomfortable, because one of the things that I'm noticing is that we try to be I heard it described as a politics of respectability, right? Where we believe that the onus was on us to make ourselves respectable as American citizens, and then we will be treated as such. But the fact of the matter is, we have outdone everybody in showing love for this country. We have outdone everybody in showing sacrifice for this country. We have outdone everybody in showing far as respect, we should be receiving it. But we're sort of like the bottom chick, you know what I'm saying, in the stable. We're the bottom chick, you know what I'm saying? You could beat the hell out of her and she always gonna come back. And this politic of respectability is making us act as the side chick of America. And I'm telling y'all right now, it's enough of that shit, family. We need to go on and dead that shit. Because the bottom line is this: when we come to Rome, people should be ready and able to deal with the questions that we have about how they're going to deal directly with our struggle, because our struggle is the essential American struggle. Our story is the essential American story, because if you take us out, we are the thread that holds the fucking flag together. And people, and with people coming in, stepping over us, stepping around us, trying to move us out the picture, by us allowing them to do that, by us allowing them to do that, by us allowing them to jump over our struggle, for us to allow them to move past that, is in a sense allowing others to piss on our ancestors. And by us permitting others to piss on our ancestors, is as if we are doing it ourselves. Now, I don't know about many of y'all, Some of y'all go to the Native American route. Some of y'all go to Moorish path. Some of y'all go to Hebrew path. And bless you on that, right? But I am here. I have deep roots here, right? I have stories where my grandmother, one of my grandmothers told me about her. This call is being recorded. Coming off a slave ship. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm like, boom, I got deep roots here, right? And I'm going to get everything that is due. God damn it. But somebody's on the line. Who is this? And welcome to the Gye-Nyame. Welcome to the congregation of the mighty. What's up?
What's up?
I'm chilling. I ain't even read the Proverbs yet. I'm about to read the Proverbs. Then we get into our discussion. You ready to jump on it?
Yes.
All right. Let me do some commercials. All right, family. First things first, Black Signal is down for now, but I think I have come up with a replacement. But this is going to be an opt-in system, so I will be giving you the information so that you can put your number down, or I could go and send out the mass text, and I'm also going to be broadcasting it over here so that we can build our list back up. And this is for everybody, those that are on the those that want to receive messages from the Black Signal, and I will be able to distinguish who will want to be on the Daily Toaster list, who wants to be on just the Tribal Quotes list, who wants to be on the Folktale for Grown Folk list, or those that just want to receive general information about community events, meetings such as Simba Simsa, Warrior Gye-Nyame and Millennium Warrior Training, Kwanzaa, other social stabilizing holidays and businesses and things going on and events going on in the surrounding areas. I want to make this something that we all can use, but I need it to be affordable. Because what I got right now is no longer working for us. So I want to make sure that what I get will work for us. Now I'm going to apologize in advance. This new system that I'm going to get, it don't look like I'm going to be able to personalize each message. So you can just receive a general text. Also, family, I am strongly suggesting that you get your hands on the Black Sands that rhyme. You get your hands on the Black Sands. You can support them on Patreon. You can look up Black Sands. I think it's blacksands.com. You go there, check them out. Beautiful comic book. My daughters love the images. We're reading through it right now, right? I already finished it, but I'm going to go back with my daughters and read the last chapter to them. I can't wait for the next one to come out. Stimulates the imagination. Plus, my daughters get to look at beautiful Black girls that look like them. That look like them. So, also, I will ask you that you like, subscribe, and share. We have to spread the message. I want to grow. Let's grow. You know what I'm saying? Because over the internet, we can have a little bit of beef or whatever. We can do our arguments. We could fall out and shit. But people always come back because it's up. You know what I'm saying? And I think we could really use this for some real nation building. All right. I'm looking for people with skin in the game. So, all right, do you got something you want to say real quick before we jump off into these folk tales, or should I read should I read the quotes first?
The quotes first.
All right. I'm quite sure to lead us into the discussion. All right, here we go. We are, for those that want to keep up with us, because we're going to do the book again, we are on day 50. That means this is my second or third time through this damn book, right? This Gye-Nyame Journey Workbook, Tribal Quotes, compiled by myself. We are on day 50, and here we go. Live as if you were to die tomorrow. Learn as if you were to live forever. Mahatma Gandhi. Number 2, he who is unable to live in society or who has no need because he is sufficient for himself must be either a beast or a god. That's Aristotle. Last, the child that is not crying has no need to be nursed. That's from Haiti. Lady J, which one you want to start on?
Um. Uh. No one else is on the line.
Now it's just us tonight.
Oh. I guess I'll go with the one that I would like to hear you explain. Number one.
Mm. Live as if you were to die tomorrow. Learn as if you were to live forever. All right. So
I'm sorry, Hatem.
go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, Hatem.
Go ahead.
Please forgive me. I meant number two.
All right. Oh goodness. He who is unable to live in society or who has no need because he is sufficient for himself must be either a beast or a god. Hold on. Family. Family. Hate Aristotle or love him, but I want y'all to think about those words. You want me to go in on this one first?
Yes, sir. Please and thank you.
He who was unable to live in society. Now, what is society? Society is a collective of people who have decided to live a certain way. And especially in Western civilizations, those individuals that could not live in society, they had special places for you. At first it was the grave, and now it's penal institutions. But he bring up the point of he who is unable to live in society or who has no need because he is sufficient for himself is either a beast or a god. Any being or any group of people. I want y'all to think about that. Because a lot of times we get into this individualism shit, right? What did Greeks call people outside of Greece? Hmm? I want y'all to think about that. The way Western society is designed, what do they call people outside of their rulership? Right? People outside of their rulership were seen as barbarians, were seen as beasts, were seen as non-persons. Like for example, those that seen the movie 300, when when the brother was talking to the wife of the king of Sparta, he said something about women don't talk or something like that. And she and along the lines women in something along the lines of disrespecting women. And her response to him was that basically there were no men outside of Spartans because Spartan women give birth to the only men on the planet. So it's what this is saying is that anybody that's able to live outside of their rules, their laws, their customs, is either a god or a beast. A deer don't need to live by their rules, so a deer can be conquered by them. A deer can be hunted and killed by them. But what is that thing that live outside of your society that you cannot tame, that you cannot control, that you cannot dominate? That thing will be considered a god. That thing will be considered something of power, something of substance, something that we as a group need to start striving towards. Because we have to be able to be self sufficient. We have to be sufficient unto ourselves so that we are able, you know what I'm saying, able to stand outside their rule, able to stand outside their control, right? Because at first they'll look at you as a beast and then they'll try you. And once you check their ass, this society has a tendency to worship those things that they can't conquer. They worship those things that they can't conquer. So what he's telling us, and this is from their ancient mind, he who is unable to live in society or who has no need because he is sufficient for himself must either must either be a beast or a god. And in a sense, we have to choose. Because really, when it comes down to it, in many cases, we have been pinpointed as individuals that are not worthy of society, no matter how hard we try to fit in. I just seen a video that blew my mind. A brother was on a roof, and this happened in last year. Brother was on the roof. Police ran up there, told him to turn around. He turned around. They told him to get on the ground. As he started moving towards the ground, they shot his ass like they was hunting. Just shot his ass. I thought he was reaching for a gun. Shot his ass and laid him down. You know what I'm saying? And we have a choice at this point in time where we gonna have to, one, either be beast, because what do you do with beast? Either you tame them or you slaughter them, or you allow them to live in your zoo under controlled conditions. But you can't tame a god. You can't tame the divine. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking at this one as something that's talking about. I mean, actually, is giving us a key. He who has no need because he is sufficient for him and herself or themselves. That's what we need to be striving towards. And what does that mean? You know what I'm saying? Being sufficient for ourselves. Can we feed ourselves? I mean, even for just a little while. Can we clothe ourselves if we really needed to? You know what I'm saying? Can we function? You know what I'm saying? Can we educate our young ones? You know what I'm saying? Being able to live outside of their control. I don't see anything wrong with it. Matter of fact, I see other groups doing it all the time. When we talk about doing it, it's crazy, right? Because we supposed to fit in. That's as far as I can take it. What you think, Lady J?
Um, okay. So can you read it one more time?
He who is unable to live in society, or who has no need because he is sufficient for himself, must be either a beast or a god.
All right. So I think that it could. I think that he who is unable to live in society refers to the beast, and he who does not need to because he is sufficient is the God.
Mm. Mm.
It,
Okay. I want you. I mean, now, because I'm gonna say this. What happens? Because it's like, what happens when you don't fit in a society? Are you considered a beast? I mean, well, I guess damn, I answered my own question. Shit. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, really, when they look at a lot, when we're looked at, when we talked about politically and otherwise, you know what I'm saying?
we're looked at as what? Beast.
Beast, yes.
I think that we're not looked at as beast. We are portrayed as beast. We are perpetuated as beast, but we are known to be God. Everything that has ever existed in our history um, supports the fact that we are gods, that we are creators, innovators. And so when I think about the reason they portray us as beasts in the media is because they would want to cover our third eye. It is frightening what will happen if a people develop a sense of pride or a sense of what is it? Know thyself, right?
Mm-hmm.
If a people reconnected with the God that is within them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you would want to cover my third eye with these images and perpetuating these beliefs that I am in fact a beast, when in reality everything that has ever been written um, that mattered. I'm talking about ancient documents. Have always went with the opposite. That we're not beasts. That we're gods.
Right. But now I want you now because I want to go back to fit into society. See, when you talk when Aristotle was talking about society, what was he talking about? You feel me?
Okay, Aristotle. Okay, you said when he's talking about society.
What is he talking about?
You said that it's going to be people living together in like a community, right?
Right, but we're talking about Aristotle.
Yeah, and we're going to say that Aristotle, being a Greek, being from Greece, even the Greeks had their own societies. Each you had the Athenians had their own, the Spartans had their own. They were all one, but they were all separate, and they had their own societies separated,
and how
they
did
had
they
their
look at
own
each other?
and they had their own money, and right.
Yeah,
but these were other Greeks.
Right,
These
how
were
they look at each other?
Greeks who, yes, but at times of when? At times of when anyone comes against us, we unite. And the other time they united was when? When would they stop war?
Shit, I don't think they ever stopped.
They did. Like, yeah, they did stop war. They would stop fighting. It would be.
Wait, no, you gotta go. I mean, now hold on. See,
I'm about to tell you. You want to know when they would stop?
Go ahead. When outsiders came?
During the time of the Olympics. During the time of the Olympics.
But even
you have the Olympics, we all come together. I don't care if we was fighting before. We're not fighting until the Olympics are over.
That's true.
We're going right back to war.
I feel you. But even the Olympics was structured war. Because they wasn't all just complete. You understand what I'm saying?
Because in what respect?
Well, I mean,
if you're not fighting, you're not killing.
Well, in our Olympics, we're not. In Greek Olympics,
no, in their Olympics, you didn't either. And if
you better look at those first Olympics. You better look at those. You better look at those first Olympics.
So let me ask you, what else were they doing though? What else were the Greeks doing in their Olympics? The Romans built coliseums and watched people die over and over. They got gratification from that. But the Greeks, when they were having their Olympics, it wasn't about I don't, even if killing did, and maybe I missed that part. But they had same kind of activities, but some more
that was later.
Your mental as well.
That was later in their history. When you look at, like, for example, one of the major events was pancration, which is a form of martial arts. You either got maimed, or you know what I'm saying, or it was pretty rough. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, there's stories about motherfuckers dying in the Olympics. I mean, it was brutal.
People probably about die in our Olympics too.
Well, not quite like they died in those. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's one story. It's one story. I'm serious. It's one story where in a pancration competition, when it was going for the championship, one guy held another guy in a stranglehold, and the other guy refused to yield, and he put him in an ankle lock.
Okay.
And homeboy still had the choke lock on him. He got the ankle lock, and homeboy gave up. But by the time he gave up, the one that was doing the choking, by the time he gave up screaming in pain, the other guy was dead. And that was only one of them. There was a whole, but when you look at their history and some of the stuff they was doing, go ahead. I'm just saying. I mean, I like that type of shit.
Hold on, Jim.
Go ahead.
This is my thing. What I'm saying is that may have been one
event.
What is it?
Event.
Yes.
Okay.
You had, I know you had wrestling. I know you had racing. I know you had the
They didn't have
chariot
wrestling till later.
racing.
Wrestling is Greco-Roman wrestling is a descendant of pancration. They
Okay.
when they civilized it, then the wrestling came. Then you had the long runs and all the other shit. But it was, it was I mean it was some they I mean it was organized war. Football is organized war, even though we don't want to look at it like that. When you look at a lot of these games, they're organized war. One team, A team versus B team. You know what I'm saying? And you bring these countries together and they will compete to see who would win this. It might not be as much blood, but it's organized war. That's what these games simulate. I mean, how can you not look at football and see war? Football is war.
I can't. The only time I can look at anything and see war is rugby. Football, you got all that damn equipment on. That's not you. Not, I'm not impressed.
Listen,
I'm not impressed. But again,
but
I say the
back
Greek
to
cat. You like to look at you. You know, I kind of want to. I like to focus on the sunny side of things. And like I said, I know that even later in history, even when they may have changed the different, what did you say they're called?
it's pancration for anybody that's
No,
interested.
no, the different. What are the things they have in the Olympics? They have all these different what
Events.
events? Yes.
Hmm.
So later they added events, but either way, my point and what I said was it was a time when Greeks stopped fighting,
Yeah, they would. I mean, they wouldn't
uh,
allow.
and 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 so what I want to say about the quote is what I want to say about the quote is that if we use the definition that you shared for society, it means that we all live amongst in our own societies or communities,
No,
right?
no. Well,
And there are people.
the reason I asked the question was what I was trying to be clear on is because like I'm looking at the roots of the quote as well as the person. I mean, the roots of the person that is attributed or given credit for creating these words. Aristotle. Aristotle was a Greek. So
I know.
when they threw out society, we have to understand that what he's talking about is his circle. And what is translated is because, like you already said, they're throwing the wool over our eyes to fool us into believing what we need. And a lot of us, we fall for the trick and try to fit into their society. And since we can't naturally fit into their society because we're supposed to have our own, right? But we're trying to fit and we're going all into their society, then they can also it keeps us locked into the beast mode. Because what do you do with a beast when you do tame them? And, I mean, they call them beast of burden. So even you don't fit in society, you are a beast. And I'll tame you or I'll kill you. You have to be useful to the society in which you're trying to belong, or you will be destroyed. When they can't destroy you is when I'm saying that you become deified. You understand what I'm saying? So when they looked at like when the Greek gods would talk about we're going to Ethiopia to chill with our brothers. You know what I'm saying? The Greek gods when they used to this where they used to go when they used to leave Mount Olympus, they would go over to us to chill with their family, with groups of individuals that they could not tame. They were sons
Why were
divine.
they naked? Why were
Who?
they naked in these events?
Oh, well, I mean, you got, what are clothes for? Clothes are costumes. In ancient societies, people didn't feel a need to have to cover up. You understand what I'm saying? As we become so quote unquote more civilized, we have learned to hide everything. I mean, to the point where now we hide our hair and hide our faces and shit. You know what I'm saying? That is
You're speaking out against fear.
Oh no, I ain't talking about that type of hiding faces and shit, because a beard is natural and shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to go to the
Oh,
store and buy this shit. You know what I'm saying?
um,
I'm talking about the makeup and shit that we put. We disguise ourselves. The more civilized we become, supposedly we start disguising ourselves so that we can hide who we really are. So Greeks, they didn't have, and then on top of that, the less clothes you got, the faster you can move. Shit, there ain't nothing faster than a naked motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I ain't got no weight but my thing, nothing but my balls jangling. I'm just light.
oh, that was TMI.
You say who? I'm just saying.
TMI, don't you know?
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. And but then there was some other shit going on with those Greeks that we don't need to discuss right now also, because they was checking
They
out.
were just, yeah, I don't
But
know. I just think,
we was naked
I
in
just
certain
think that there
places.
are, I'm sorry.
We was naked in certain places and where we from as well. So
Mm, yeah,
and but people look at that as beastly, right?
I don't know. But, I think that people who can't live in their community are these
Mm,
people who, yeah, like I went on a micro scale. You know what I mean?
right. I
Like
mean,
just out people like certain. We know what society share. You know what I mean? So if we
right,
really look at our what we do in our realm, that's our society pretty much.
right.
I'm speaking on a yeah, I don't know if it would be macro or micro, but
Now, when we look at what we have now, what we have is a warped perception of trying to fit into others' society, wanting to be accepted in other society, trying to prove ourselves worthy of fitting into other society. So, of course, we will have to kind of wear that beast mantle right now. You understand what I'm saying? Because, like you said, they
they
pulled the
don't
wool
need other
around us.
people's society.
Who?
It's just hmm.
Who don't need other people's society?
I said it doesn't be. Um, I want to say that the reason why I kind of led in on this conversation is because I think that us, um, blacks that live, and I'm just talking about again, we stay deep in with each other, killing each other, fighting each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we weaken ourselves just like the Greeks did. We weaken ourselves. We make ourselves vulnerable. At the same time, and it's the same thing when others attack us, when the police attack us, we be ready to band together, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then we just back to killing each other. We back
Europeans,
we back to it.
Europeans do the same shit. Asians do the same shit.
I don't
I'm
mix
just
them
saying.
with them.
I'm just
They
saying
not
that's
my
human.
everyday. I'm not on their Facebook.
That's
I don't
human.
care what they
I
do.
mean, that's
I
human.
don't
What
why
I'm
would I
saying,
care what they do?
and I think one of the things we might need to start doing. I mean, because you going a lot of people gonna disagree with me. We, like I said, we need to start drawing a circle around who is our people. Because all these motherfuckers ain't our people. Like one of the things
Yes,
I've
and
been thinking about.
I'm not
Uh,
see this is the
skin
thing.
folks.
Okay, another thing I found.
Go ahead.
Hello?
Hello.
I they are all my people. Because like you said, when shit happened, when it hits the fan, we come together.
But
Or you
that
would
don't
hope that
make
we
it.
would. And
That don't.
I'm not even talking about just even with my people in my city. I'm talking about across the globe. Like when shit is not right, we should be advocating for people. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But hold
Like it
on.
only makes sense.
Hold on. No.
But
Wait. Wait.
our
Wait.
people will cease to
Wait.
exist.
Wait.
Our people will cease to exist because we don't learn lessons from others.
Hold on. Hold on now, because I'm gonna challenge you on that. But we got a call from West Virginia. Who this? Come on in. Welcome to the congregation of the mighty. Go and introduce yourself. Go and join the conversation.
He may just have called. I told my friend to call and listen.
Oh, okay. He just listening. Okay, cool. So,
Yep.
now I'm gonna challenge you on that, right?
Uh-huh.
I think part of our issue, because and just give me a second here. We have we have a sacred cow mentality where we are to sacrifice always. Now, I'm not saying not to learn from other people's struggle, but I think our primary focus at at
Hey, you talking
first.
about other people? Can I ask you something?
Go ahead.
Were the Greeks like skin? Were they like light skinned people?
As time went on, we know everybody
Man,
came
I'm
from the original. I mean,
because
shit.
every Greek every person I done met from that region, they look mixed to me.
I mean,
They don't
they
look
are
they
mixed.
don't look like European.
They are
They don't
mixed.
have pale skin.
Well, that's because I mean you got to understand it. That's just like if you go to Egypt right now. You look around Egypt, shit, you be like, God damn. You know what I'm saying? You got to understand that now part of conquering, a wise conqueror when he comes in, when they come in, he, she, or
You make
whoever,
babies.
they not
You
only
make babies. That's the
not only
first
do they
part of
make
war. You make
babies,
babies.
but then they also take the best parts of the culture and make them their own. Like right now, I'm taking my kids to 1,001 Nights. It was first it's called 1,001 Nights, but then people start calling them Arabian Nights, not really understanding that this fable are a bunch of Persian tales, and the Persians
Mhm.
were not
Mhm.
were
Mhm.
not originally Arabs. They were not Arabs. They were not Islam. They was not Muslims, right? The Muslims took it
Uh-huh.
and added it to their culture and turned it into a tool that they could use to get other people involved in what they do. It became a cultural tool for Arab Islam. You see what I'm saying? So when conquerors go in, the wise conquerors go in and take the best of the civilization that they conquer. Just like when they came into Egypt. You know what I'm saying? When Alexander the Macedonian went into ancient Kemet, right? He took the best of that culture. You know what I'm saying? They took what they could. They set up in there. They made babies and they took the knowledge.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So we have to understand that. You know what I'm saying? And we have to be aware of that. So when we're looking at this stuff now, because my issue is I don't want us to get caught in glorifying history as much as learning from it. Because
Why did
go ahead.
you always accuse me of glorifying
I ain't
something?
no 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 no.
What
That
did you?
that
What
is
is
not.
that other word that you say? You accuse me of what do you say? It fluffing it. What do you call it?
I don't know. You gotta get me to that point where I has to start yelling. I don't remember half that shit.
But
I
that's
black
the
out.
only point I want to make. I want to draw a comparison between black people and their cousins, the ancient Greeks, who were colored people who were not of the Caucasus Mountains, who were of some colored people. Um, we need to learn from their. It's the best. That's the best lesson I've ever taught. I think the most important one is the story of the Greeks for black children.
Hmm.
You got to know, like, the destruction of a black civilization. You got to know it happened over and over again. We can't keep fighting amongst ourselves.
Now,
We
once
can't keep.
once
We've seen it
again,
happen over and over and
once
over and over
again,
and over again. We can't keep fighting amongst ourselves.
once again, we gotta identify who is ourselves. Now, because
People
all
who look like us. What do
now,
you
but hold
mean?
on, listen, listen,
People who look like
listen.
me.
We're living in a different time now. Because listen to me. Just give me a second. Just give me a second. We're living in a time where we have to start circling the wagons, and we have to start being clear on who are enemies, who are allies, and who are family, who are tribe. You know what I'm saying? And I know a lot of people get upset about that, but we're moving into a time when that's necessary because what's going to start to happen is that as everybody start lining up their wagons, because we see, I mean, if you look around the world, you see it happening everywhere. We need to be clear on who is on our side in some form or fashion. Because what happens is, how did they get us before?
Say it again. Say it again. Say it again. Who do you need?
We need for
you need to know who your what?
Who your allies and who your enemies are.
Okay.
As well as
so let me ask you
is
something.
really
Something
with
that
you.
your allies, all allies, have in common is an enemy.
No,
so
not always.
You need to
not
okay,
always.
let me finish.
Go ahead. But go ahead. That's a wrong statement. But go ahead.
What makes you an ally is that you have a common enemy.
No, that don't make you that don't have to.
So wait a minute. You listed three, Hatem. You listed three. You said our allies, our enemy, and our tribe. My tribe ain't got nothing to do with my allies. My tribe is where I'm at, right there.
Not always.
My allies are somewhere else.
Not nowadays.
They just got a common enemy.
Not
they
listen,
just got they ain't got you ain't got to be a part of my tribe to be a part of my to be an ally.
No, you don't have to be part of the tribe to be to be an ally, but you can have somebody that look like you that's not part of your tribe that's an ally. You understand what I'm saying? Because everybody's not part of our tribe. We want to open up and be like,
and hey, that's true. That's true.
Hey, everybody come here. And then also, allies don't just align because they got a common enemy. There might be a common resource that they might not want to go to war over to be able to share, or there might be skills or something that they can share amongst each other.
I'm going to argue that allies have common enemies.
No, I understand.
Yeah, I'm going to.
Excuse me.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
You sound like it can even be an interest. Right. They have like a common interest. It don't always have to be like an enemy. It can just be some type of interest that somebody has.
Because you look at some of the allies that America has. There's no real enemies in a sense out there, but they allied. They become allies because
who? There is.
Who?
There is.
Who?
Okay, so you're saying America, but I'm going to say that a common enemy that is shared amongst people like different regions, different continents, is what do I want to call them? I kind of want to call them the Illuminati.
Go ahead. Well, I mean,
I think I want to call them the Illuminati.
Yeah, I think I kind of understand what he's saying.
I mean, all your friends, y'all didn't become friends because of an enemy. Sometimes you became friends because y'all share things in common. I mean, you understand what I'm saying? Go ahead.
The only thing I'm saying is, if it's just in my eyes, if you look like me, you're not my enemy. You're not my enemy. I don't know.
If I don't show it at first, you right.
That's my people. That's my people.
But nowadays we got to be clear because many of our people are dark-skinned white people. I'm just saying. I mean, it's the reality we're dealing with.
Okay, let's go to the next. Let's go to the next quote.
Which one? You want 1 or 3?
3.
3. The child that is not crying has no need to be nursed. That's Haiti. You supposed to be in bed. Excuse me, it's real life here, Gye-Nyame Journey. Go to bed. What you mean you got homework? We did. Now that no 10 o'clock, you got home sleep. Bye. I'm sorry. Real life here, Gye-Nyame Journey. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go first.
All right. You brother, you want to try? You want to take a shot at it? Or you want me to go first? Well, I guess I go first. All right, let's see. My fault. I ain't been on the chat in a minute. Let me check the chat. All right, cool. In a society of beasts, the human will be looked upon as the animal, and treated as an inferior, ignorant for being quote unquote tame. Hey, that's a pretty good one there. Okay. Okay, Mr. Miller, I see you out there. All right, so this one is about it sounds as if it's about child rearing. A child that is not crying has no need to be nursed. I see this one a lot. I see this one a lot. It's sort of like spoiling a child, spoiling an individual, being at an individual's beck and call, even though they don't need it, not allowing them, like for example, carrying a child rather than allowing them to struggle to walk because you don't want to see them struggle. You know what I'm saying? Over nurturing, which kind of makes any child weak. You understand? 'Cause it can handicap. Matter of fact, sometimes I believe some of our parents, and maybe even me, sometimes we can be so helpful to our children that we handicap them. Sometimes we need to wait for them to ask for help before we jump into the fray that they're dealing with. Sometimes we might not need to let them cry for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Before we run in and handle them, and because I think sometimes by overdoing it, we can ruin that child or that individual that you may be trying to help. Sometimes we become so helpful to people that we in the drug game they call it when you trying to the drug counseling piece they call it enabling. You enable people to continue doing the fuckery that's been messing up their life by always coming to their rescue or always being that dependable whatever you are in their life, and not allowing
You
them to
also
suffer. Go ahead.
you also rob them of their opportunity to have an experience. You know what I'm saying? They say life is the best teacher, right?
Yeah, yeah. And the most
Mm-hmm.
dangerous one too. Shit, because life can't go to jail. Life will kill you. You know what I'm saying? Life is real. You know what I'm saying? So
I was like that with my youngest boy, and he he had went through a temporary state of insanity at some point, and uh, he was demonstrating reckless behavior, right?
you know what
And
that's from.
so, hmm,
You know what that's from.
what?
Those new hairs that's popping up on his body start to itch and they lose their goddamn mind because they still adjusting, not justifying it, but you go crazy. All that hair be itching, boy. I remember going
And
through it. I'll just messing with you. Go ahead.
what did you say?
Now, so I'm just messing with you. Go ahead. But that's
Um,
part of it. That
so so some years ago, like I probably was yeah, especially about my youngest son. But anyways, so he had a coach, right? And the
mm-hmm.
coach would tell him, and I had experience doing this, trying to run people's football field, run him, run this, run that. But anyways,
Who you?
somebody told somebody started telling him to push me off. He'd say, "Mom, push me off," and so he was saying like push me off the nipple. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like you don't have to. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
You don't have to speak for me. You don't have to. Like let me. And sure enough, that like you said, life is the best teacher. So I agree with what you said. That was
And
deep.
I mean that's scary sometimes when you're trying to help somebody, or especially in the parent and child relationship department, because you know what's out there and it's scary. You understand what I'm saying? As a parent, it's scary. As a loved one looking out for people, it's scary. You know what I'm saying? I have grown nephews and sons out here that every time I turn on the radio or hear in the news on TV when I'm happening to glance and see police sirens and hearing about somebody possibly losing their life, I get a sinking feeling in my stomach. You understand what I'm saying? Because that could be one of mine.
Can I ask you something?
Go ahead.
And I don't want to I don't know how this is going to sound, but when you think of that, who do you think, when you fear that, who are you fearing has done that to them?
Now, when it happens, I'm not even concerned about who. I'm concerned about it happening. So I'm not putting a picture on because
Okay, so when you
wait,
think
hold on,
about,
because when
you never put a picture.
about, you know what I'm saying? I got a good idea of who to suspect, but I'm not. But I do know. I know where you're trying to go with this. I do realize that there is.
So go there.
Yeah, there's a good possibility that if that happens, it's going to happen by the hand of someone that looks like them.
That's unfortunate.
No, that's reality. That ain't unfortunate. That's reality.
And so let's go back to the other quote when we talk about society. That is our society. That is our society right there.
Are you sure it's ours?
Why I said we learn. That's why I said we learn. We must learn from the Greeks.
Well, now let me just go back because I want to stress something. That people that live around each other, in many cases, hurt each other. People that are in oppressed areas usually hurt each other.
That's not okay.
No,
that's not okay.
I'm
You're
not. But
listen.
I'm not saying whether it's okay or not. I'm just stressing the fact because I don't want us to stigmatize our people as sicker than anybody else. Black people tend to kill. Wait, hold on.
Why would I care? Why would I care? I don't live amongst anyone else. I don't live amongst anyone else. I live amongst Black people. I don't care what white people do. I don't care what Asians do. I don't care what Mexicans do. I don't care what no one else do.
What you do when you do that, right? You make it when we fret on that, we act like it's abnormal. Do you understand me?
We act like what?
We act like it's abnormal. We act like it's abnormal. For people around each other that are in an oppressed situation to kill each other.
I'm gonna tell you why it's abnormal.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna tell you why it is abnormal. It's abnormal because we are gods.
Now, you know that, but go outside your house and ask the brother down the street from you that might be outside right now, what is he? And then go around the corner to the
it don't matter.
The speedway. No, wait, hold on, wait, no. It does matter when a majority of your community, once again, says start making that circle, because some people don't know and some people don't want to know. And some people don't even care. You understand what I'm saying? And it's like you limit the reality, because Black folks, long before Europeans interceded, was killing Black folks. White folks was killing white folks.
Okay, and let me say this.
Asians was killing Asians.
Whenever they was killing Black folks long time before, you understand what, like back then, it was still the same situation. When I say the destruction of a Black civilization.
But what about before the incursions?
Anytime we can.
What about before the incursions? There was no murder. Before Europeans, before the Europeans, there was no murder.
I didn't say that there wasn't. What do you
mean?
I'm
saying, I mean, because it's going. Because
okay, again,
the only point I'm trying to make, because I don't want to. Go ahead.
Let's go to my book. Let's go to the favorite book, the book that I'm referring to.
Go ahead.
Destruction of a Black Civilization.
Okay.
It talks about the behaviors that we had even prior to our European encounter. So we already were doing things that were causing our destruction. We already had those habits. We did it. We would see it, and then we would do it again. It's written in history. We repeated the same tragedies over and over again. And the fact that we don't unite people who look like us against a common enemy, it's the cause of our destruction.
Lady J.
We're too busy fighting each other. We're too busy fighting each other.
Lady J.
And that's going to be, yes.
All I'm saying is, circle your wagons, baby. Who your tribe? And start building up on your tribe. And like I said, if you want to go out and proselytize to other people about it, that's cool, because some people do need to be spoke to, and that might be all they need to hear. They might need to hear the word from you, but you need to start building your tribe. Now, because this is the issue. This is the issue, right? Once we get those small groups together, right? You got your thing, I got mine, or me and yours is combined, and somebody touch one of ours, our reaction will determine on how and when the next one will happen. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because if in our circle we are educating and destroying the cycle that you're talking about, people like us, we don't hurt people like us. But then one of our kids go out and a person that look like us hurts them. Is that person or takes them away from us? Is that person still one of us? Is he, just because he looked like us, he took somebody that belongs to us? Is he still one of us?
Yep.
That is part of the maybe that's part of the mistake that we kept repeating. I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? Because somebody take away mine.
I'm not saying that it's been written also. It's been written eye for an eye, right? So technically, whether you are of me or not, if you take a life from me, I can take a life from you. That's eye for an eye.
Okay. And so we understand. I mean, all I'm saying is, I don't want you to get caught up in looking at what's going on in our community as something that is unique to us, because because your favorite word. Wait, hold on. The propaganda out there will make you believe that it's only happening to us. Them niggas is just killing themselves, and you know. And they don't.
You know what I did the other day? They probably got people in my building hot, because I know he left and went and talked about it. So this counselor came into my room, right, to observe, and we're talking about slaves, right? Because we're in Greece, or where am I at? I'm either in Greece or Mesopotamia with this group. I'm in Greece. So he comes into my room to observe. We're talking about slaves. We're taking notes. Slaves, And so they had some questions about slaves. And one of the questions was, like, I was explaining to everybody, enslaving people is the art of war. You feel me? It's existed since the beginning of time. All people have been enslaved. Little kids said, white people been enslaved? Fuck yeah. Yeah, where do you think the word slave come from? And he just out over there jotting down. And I'm sure, and then it makes sense now that I thought about it. One of my white coworkers said she had a problem with people teaching their classroom. And I didn't put two and two together, but I think it's probably because he told her what I said. But what I said is fact. Whether it's written in the book in my classroom, I tell my kids those are secondary sources.
So
they leave shit out and add shit in.
So in your
it is a known fact.
In your life, in your children's life, I ain't gonna get into that because you baiting me. I know what's going on. You're trying to bait me because you know I was about to go in on that. I'm not falling for it this time. I'm not gonna do it. You see her trying to bait me, so I'm gonna leave it alone. Lady J, I know, you know, because you about to get into your white people with slave shit. Right? Is that what we about to get? Was that what we about to hit?
They were slaves. What
Listen,
do you mean?
But listen, though, no, I'll say something, and I please listen.
I gotta go. Okay, go ahead.
That's different, man, because it was no slavery like the European slavery, man. That's a whole different
Matter.
man.
It does matter.
It
matters.
do
It
matter.
matters to you and your lineage.
It doesn't matter. I'm not comparing them. I'm not comparing. I'm not comparing. I'm just stating a fact. I'm not saying one. I mean, but it is fact that one that existed here in the Americas was nothing like what had existed during ancient times. That's absolutely true. But that doesn't negate the fact that the Europeans were enslaved, and it is missing from every book. Why? Why is it that when our kids hear the word slave, that they think somebody black when all people have been enslaved? All people, not just African Americans in the Americas.
Listen, listen. Please,
you gotta call me. You gotta call me Lady J.
They call her Lady J.
Lady J. This is. I think what the brother's kind of saying. This is, and kind of go back to what you're saying. This is what I think. Me, you talking to something. This is what I think you got to understand. Okay, it happened to Europeans, whatever. It happened to Europeans, whatever. This is what's happening.
Let them finish, please.
Listen now. This is what happened to us, and that's our problem, man. Just like what he was saying, just like I was telling you, like it's our intake where we take it. People, you remember what I was saying that we was better off than them segregation? That's our intake. That been our problem. We trust everybody. That's how Africa got destroyed, man. When the first Europeans came into that place. We trust everybody, man. We always been able to solve our problems, man, by ourselves. That's what we.
Hello? You hung up on him, Lady J?
How could I possibly hang up on
I don't know. That's kind of suspicious. That shit never happened before.
No, I didn't hang up on that man.
Lady J.
So like I said, I'm not comparing anything. All I'm saying that no one ever tells people where the word slave derives from. And it derives from the Slavs who were enslaved.
That's beautiful.
And they were Europeans.
That's beautiful.
And so,
but how does that affect your life? See, but what you're doing, and you got to stop this, especially when you're talking to me, is that you give other people fuel to say that our slavery, you give them the fuel to minimize what happened to us because you giving because what you're doing is you teaching other people. You're teaching other people that everybody was enslaved, and slavery is slavery. Slavery is slavery, right?
Within the same breath, I will say this, Hatem.
Let them do that research. Let them do that research.
Within the same breath, I'm going to tell you that there are primary documents that were written by my ancestors, my African American ancestors, that tell of the horrors of slavery.
But they don't have to read it, Janelle. They're not reading it.
I can never negate. That's not what I'm arguing.
You got me.
What I'm arguing and what I'm stating is a fact. White people are not going to white people are not going to kill my spirit and make it seem
Lady J, how can slavery kill your spirit? Hold on, time out. How does the idea that your people lost the battle because the war is still going on, how could that weaken your spirit? As a matter of fact, that should be fuel to keep you moving. See, because what you're doing, and maybe you don't realize this, and I keep on I'm trying to point it out to you, is that you're giving people a reason to skim over what happened to us in this country.
I'm not giving nobody the reason to do anything.
You don't want to hear it. You don't want to hear it, but that's cool. But that's what's happening. Because because at one point in time you're like, the Irish was enslaved here too. We done had that conversation too, and it's not the same thing.
Let me say this again, and then I'm not going to say anymore.
Yes, you are.
The reason why it is important that we have a per se Afrocentric school, or the reasons the reasons why it's important that we have a Black History Month, and the reasons why you know that we need to teach a history of a people that is missing is because they have it has been perpetuated as if my people that look like me are only descendants of slaves. In fact, when we say the word slave, a black person comes to mind. And what I'm saying is that is far from the truth. Time out for that being the narrative. We got to go
Lady
deeper
J.
than that, and that's
Lady J.
all I'm saying is
Lady
that
J.
we have to.
Why? What's the benefit? I mean, because now the conversation we having, we don't need to be having it on the air. We can talk about that amongst us. You know what I'm saying? If it's important to make sure that our children know that other people, because if they start looking at the history of the world, they will see that for themselves. What we need to highlight is our narrative here in America, because America's wealth was built up on your ancestors' blood and bones. America's wealth
Not only
comes
on their blood and bones, but on their ingenuity. On their
all right, cool.
ingenuity.
Add whatever you want to it. But what I'm saying is you are giving the other side.
I'm not.
Okay. You don't you see, maybe you don't follow
I'm
those.
stating the
I
fact.
follow those
How you
arguments.
choose to use that information is
listen.
on you.
How
I'm
you
just
gonna use
stating
no?
the
But
fact.
what I'm saying is when you bring that up, right? And you say, well, all people were slaves. You give individuals who don't have your agenda in mind the ability to discount what happened to our ancestors. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not trying to discount.
See, I ain't saying you're not listening to listen.
I'm not. Yeah, I
Listen,
would never see
Linda,
eye to eye on
Linda,
that.
Linda,
Can you go and see if
Linda,
anybody is typing
Linda,
anything online?
listen,
Can
Linda,
you just go see if anybody
listen,
is
Linda,
typing anything online? Because
listen,
I just can't right
listen,
now.
Linda, listen, please, just listen, listen. There is a whole movement to erase our history here. I need you to understand that. I need you to understand that. There is a movement to erase our history here in America. Not only is it happening from them, it's happening from us. And what I'm saying is, I'm just cautioning you. I can't tell you what to do, but I'm cautioning you to just be careful about putting fuel on the fire where they could get anything to discount what your ancestors
Can
did.
I ask you something? Did black people build this country? Did they fight in every war? Every war fought in the name of this country. Every war blacks fought in. We have a longer. My history here, it runs deeper than a lot of Europeans, and I know this to be fact.
No, wait, hold on, time out.
Let me just say this last thing to really piss someone off. All right, can I say something to really piss someone off?
You ain't gonna piss nobody off. Because you ain't
gonna
pull me into
so
this.
that is the exact reason why when we say every day my school stands to say the Pledge of Allegiance. And I tell people I take pride in that because whereas some might look at that flag and see something else, what I see and what I remember is just what you said. My people's history here in this country. They have fought and they have died. I too am America.
What? Yeah. No, you better not go into that
I'm
poem. I swear I'll cut you off. Listen. And I'm not. And nothing you said can I disagree with. The only thing I am saying, and I'm cautioning you against, because there is a movement, and when we say stuff that can minimize or can be used to minimize our ancestors' contribution to this country.
But it can't be used to minimize.
Do you follow the? I mean, are you on any? Are you on any right
It's
wing?
also,
Excuse me. Are you on any right wing sites? Listening to any right wing speakers? Are you listening?
um,
Did you listen to what Obama said about reparations? Are you listening to how they're trying to group us with people of color? And they're not they, and have you noticed how few times a politician will even say black? When it comes to him being elected, they'll talk black. But once they're elected, you don't see the change in the discussion. I shouldn't have to point this out to you. Since you want to
I
since
don't
you
understand. I don't see what you're pointing at. I
My
don't get
point
what you're
is,
saying.
my point is, you are being whitewashed out. Nobody is speaking up for you. But yet at the same time, you want to make sure that everybody know that what your people went through, all people went through. But all people didn't
No,
go
that's
through.
not
Wait,
what
hold on,
I'm
time
saying.
out.
I'm
All
saying
people,
that in
no,
history,
no,
I'm
I
saying
don't
that in
listen.
history,
Listen, you just
I'm
want to
saying
be
in
right. And I
history,
hear, okay, cool, be right. Be right. Go and
okay,
spread the
I know I'm
doctrine
right.
that
I'm right
everybody,
on
go,
this.
go ahead.
Can you please
Spread the
go
doctrine that
online and see
everybody
if
been.
anybody
I
has said
can't wait.
anything?
I can't wait till you run into that person, right? That you're going to have a conversation and you're going to be agreeing with, and then you're going to bring up your point about this whole slavery piece, and they're going to totally agree with you and become the next president or of the United States. And when a bill come across their table for black folks specifically,
Can I tell you something?
you
I
always
told
telling me
you this
something. Let
before,
Shaka
and
go.
you know this about me.
Shaka,
I'm
you
very
next.
simple in the mind. I think that our Whitney Houston was correct when she said our children need a sense of pride. And what I'm telling you is I feel like the narrative has been not to remove that. They don't put so much in history, but that why is it that when my kids think of the word, I read their writing, right? The things I noticed that I'm gonna say I noticed that my African kids, we did this timeline. You had to put pictures on there, right? So I told them they could go to the internet and just get pictures, right? Do you know that what color of the baby you think they chose for themselves?
African or black descendant of slave children. African children or black descendants of slaves.
I only teach foreigners.
All right, cool.
I only
Now,
teach foreigners.
now, if they had been educated right, they would have picked black children.
Ain't no way.
Mm.
Ain't no way. I'll send you
They
a
they
picture
have
of it.
been totally
I'll send you a
indoctrinated.
picture. I'll send
They
you a picture
You don't
of
have to
it.
send me the
I'll
picture.
send you a
I'm just saying.
picture of it,
I'm just
man.
saying.
Oh my
So
God,
I want
it's
to
so
explain to
sick.
you. So listen, I want to explain to you. This is how deep what we're dealing with is. Where a child that is either first generation or may even came directly from the continent, and they're in
Just
your
got here.
school. They
Just
want
got here.
they want to be.
Just got here.
Wait, hold on. They want to be white. So part of that is
Not
throwing.
no,
Wait,
it's not that they want to be white.
what is
It's
it?
the way that the light skin. You know, even in how many countries in Africa are they whitening their skin? Right. So some of my kids come from these places in West
Why
Africa
do they? Why
where
do
they're
they do
whitening
that?
their skin and
Why do
their
they do
teeth
that? Because they have been subjugated
because they
over
have
there
a
by the
common
same.
enemy.
By
Because they share my common enemy.
okay.
Because they share my common enemy. The same way our minds have been
I'm not
screwed here,
disagreeing.
their
I'm not
minds have been
disagreeing with her,
screwed
y'all.
there with this white supremacy or white inferiority. That's why. That is sickening. Come on now. We have a common enemy. That's all I'm saying. We spend so much time fighting ourselves. And
Well,
that has been the cause of our civilization. And I can't be worried about other people killing themselves because they're not in my community.
well, 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 well. Okay,
The
if you can't,
RIP.
well, I got
I
a
don't
question
see the
for you.
RIP
Wait,
on my
wait,
Facebook
stop,
page.
stop, wait, stop,
I don't have to.
stop,
I don't.
stop for a
Yeah, I
second.
don't have to do any of
Stop.
those things.
If you
I'm
don't
only
have to
worried
be, wait,
about
hold
my
on. If you
society.
don't have to be worried about other people killing themselves, why you got to be worried about other people being enslaved? See,
Why do I have to worry?
I mean,
I'm just
because
speaking
you,
facts.
when you,
I just want to know why. I'm just want to know why people don't know this.
I mean, I just
Why is
want to
it
know why you
murder?
don't know that other.
Why is it
I
not?
just don't want. I just want to know why you don't understand that people that live together usually kill each other. People that live in communities.
We even tell people, we will even talk about how barbaric Europeans were that came out those mountains, right? We'll even talk about that. We have the discussion, but it's never, it's just sad. It's just sad. The idea is, like I said, I teach my kids, and I think that's what Black History Month should be all about all month, is who we were prior in the
But you know
narrative.
what? Honestly,
Who we were prior.
and I know
who
this.
we were
Hold
prior.
on.
Where do we
See, but
come
hold
from?
on.
Let's
We
give
need
these kids
to.
a
We
sense
need
of
to.
pride.
Now I'm gonna
Let's
say
give
this.
these kids
Hold
a sense
on.
of pride.
Time out. Now, was your great grandfather a punk?
Huh?
I asked the question. Was your great grandfather a punk?
A punk?
Yes, a punk.
Yeah, I don't know. I doubt it though.
All right.
I don't know.
How about his dad? How about his dad? How about his dad?
I don't know where you're going with this.
You don't got to. I'm asking you a question. Yes or no? Was he a punk? Your great grandfather's dad?
Not.
Huh?
I hope not. I hope not.
You hope not. Well, let me ask me the question. There was no punk in me. There's no punk in my line, right? And part of part of the issue that we have is that we want to go to the glory days rather than looking at the beauty in the struggle in what made it here. So now, what I'm challenging people to do is not only go and talk about the glory days, but talk about how we survived this unsurvivable shit. That's incredible to me. Hold on. Wait, stop. No, you better not. You better not. Wait, hold on. You better not go into that shit. Stop it.
Thank you. You just provide such great segues.
No, listen. But a lot of us are so concerned. We're so concerned about ancient history that we're not looking at the jewels that are right here in our families. This is why I do the daily toast. You understand what I'm saying? Because it's like we're ashamed. We're ashamed of what the fuck we came through. And we think that it crushes. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Shock is in the house.
I'm sorry. And somebody else on the line. Who else on the line? Shock, I know you ain't.
Demetrius.
What's up, Demetrius? Oh, you've been dropping wisdom all throughout the timeline, Demetrius. Welcome.
I've been listening for about an hour now, like 45. You guys going back and forth. I see where both you guys are coming from, but I definitely agree with the statement you made about a minute ago. You said that she was kind of divided in between caring about one side, but then not care, spitting the fact, but then only spitting a certain portion of the facts. So it's like, you got to pick a side. I said in the comments, I said that imbalance sometimes perfect balance, and it's nature. Something has to be.
I don't understand. I really don't understand, Demetrius. All I did was make a statement. That the word slave comes from the word Slav, which were Europeans who were enslaved in great numbers for extended periods of time. That's all I said.
But where does that come up in the knowledge that you're giving? Is that like the first thing that you're putting out, or is that at the end? Because that should be.
I know. What I said was we're learning about slaves in ancient times. And my kids my students asked me a question about who all have been enslaved throughout ancient periods of time. And I told them that where the word derives from. I gave them, that's all I did. Yeah, that's just a fact. I didn't go
you also said that you don't care about, you're also saying that you don't care about anyone outside of your community, though, like outside of your color spectrum.
Yeah, what I said.
But you're also, so you're splitting yourself in two if you don't see that.
No, and what I'm saying, Demetrius, is that when it comes to my community, when it comes to my society, when it comes to it's sad that when it comes to harm for my son, you know what I mean, or fear, it be at the hands of other people, how we treat each other. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying that I go on Facebook. I see people I know who've been murdered or grieving the loss of someone. I see.
You were talking about building earlier. You guys were talking about building earlier and bettering, saying
correct.
You don't need an outside influence for any of your bettering. Basically, what you're saying, right? It's internal, right?
You start where you're
at. Community within your
yeah. You start where you're at. You start where you at. The people's actions around me. That's just like when we go vote. We'll vote for the president, but we won't fill out our complete ballot. So the people who make the immediate decisions, when money dollars are distributed and things of that sort, we don't vote for them, right? We leave the ballot blank in those sections. How did that help us? I heard it when people voted for Obama. So many people just voted for Obama, and because he was black, and they missed the fact that they had to vote the complete ballot. That's how his House and his Senate sat the way that it did. You can't do that. You got to worry. You got to worry about your community. You got to stay focused on where you're at. The micro.
Can I say something about that? Also,
Demetrius, meet Shaka. Hello? Shaka, meet Demetrius. Go ahead, Shaka.
All right. First of all, I want to say that I have an issue. I take issue when we neglect our personal injustices to be able to contribute to the more general things that affect a culture. Because when we do that, like for myself, our personal progress is neglected. And so I understand that within this movement, this Black movement, where there is a divide, because within itself, yes, within itself, because we don't understand that the moment when we're talking about politics, we're talking about changing faces. So I'm saying that in ancient history, from the beginning on up, everybody at one point has been the slave, the underdog. We are just in a time, in a space where we're recognizing it, all right? And we're recognizing it in a space where we've been conditioned to accept it as is. So in that, I feel like the Black movement within American culture is dealing with its own Stockholm syndrome. Yes. Just as each and every one of us are as individuals. Right. Completely. So we have to deal with the internal before we can do anything outside. We have to overcome ourselves before we overcome our enemy. And it's simple as fact. It's just, so when it comes to the information, you got to deal with the internal information before you deal with the external information, especially with children. Exactly. I'm a child myself. And here's the piece is that all the time as a father that I deal with, like I said, personal injustices as a father, all along looking for an alliance in the Black community, in the father's community. Everybody's focused on their own thing, and it doesn't resonate. Your situation doesn't resonate unless you have evidence of some solution. And when you don't come to the table with evidence of that, then we're just theorists, and nobody has time for speculation because they're all, to some extent, need to put their own personal journeys and their own personal struggle into context. I take from that, when those who are ready to share too, sometimes that the ones in their community that aren't even accessible to reach. You can touch them, but mentally they're not there to be, to expound the knowledge upon, and it's like more so you can find someone on the outside who is willing to actually digest the information or even assess your spirit as a human being, and that's fact. It's not just black and white. It's black and white and everything in between.
Now,
Right.
I have to ask. So, are you speaking out speaking out against individualism? Or are you speaking for individualism in that whole piece?
I'm saying, Hatem, that individualism has to be put into context of the process, and so does tribing up. There's a time and a place for that. But the thing is that we're not moving in such an order that those who have, I mean, and that, Hatem, is where I believe that self mastery starts in individualism. Yes, the imbalance, right? I mean,
Well,
it starts with the self.
the way that we are forced to have to do it, we have to start. It starts as an individual quest. If you're lucky enough to have a group of individuals that you can start tribing up with immediately, then you're one of the fortunate ones. But this journey begins usually when somebody start looking at the world and be like, this shit don't make no sense, and they have to start
Right.
really relying on a lot of stuff that they start, like homeboy said, start relying on what's going on inside of them to start moving
Right.
towards some growth.
Right.
Now, but
For
then
real, for real, Hatem, when I come into Columbus, there should be a community like Bronxville that's just like, all right, this is us. We just set up the foundation here. We done dug the trenches and made the community and the village that we, what we want it to be. You know what I mean? So within that, we should have our own resources. We should have our own, commodities. We not building like that, but we talking like we building like that.
Let
You
me
know what I
ask
mean?
you, are there places, do you think that there's places that are like that?
Yeah. New York is a thing right now. There's multiple places. Outside of the United States, there must be. Sure, there has to. Listen, I know enough people who have. I don't know what the word is, but you know how the Great Migration brought us up here to the Midwest and to New York. Well, over the past decade, a lot of those New York folks sold their New York properties and moved down to the Carolinas and built brand new. So it's like when you look at those towns that have been developed through just that, and like I said, I don't know if you want to call that a cross migration or however, but there's a multitude of East Coast black folks who have taken their population of people to move, but the knowledge of the land still stays, and the knowledge of the history still stays there. So it's like if a people move, not all everyone's going to leave, So
right.
Someone carry the torch, and someone has that torch. Everyone talking to in this chat has that torch. You know what I mean? So it's like it doesn't matter who leaves. I mean, it's the epitome of what's going on in Cleveland right now. Like Cleveland has been in this state that it's been in forever. Now you got East Coast folk coming back here because gentrification is happening. It's a lot of opportunity in a major city that's going through a refacing right now. The piece is that a decade ago, I came from the East Coast back to my hometown of Cleveland, saw that it wasn't the same as a big city culture. Like I came out of the East Coast where everybody was a hustler. At the end of the night, either you're eating or you're not eating. And I come back here to Cleveland. It's like, well, this is the man right here, and this is the man over here, and all of them are just speculative folk, not really doing anything in an operative position, right? But this is what they're used to. So I look at the artist culture and what's missing here, and I look at the the Afrocentric culture and what's missing here. The only reason why I've already said to myself I'm going to do Kwanzaa in Columbus is because there is action versus just putting a face on. Oh well, what's the reason we got to celebrate right now? And it's just for the speculative here. That's what I experienced. Yes, we have African drum and dance companies. Yeah, we have all the makings, except for the fact we ain't doing it together.
No,
And if
and
we
it
do
starts.
it, right? So
You know, from teachers to hip hop artists to painters to people who really make art, physical art. Like we could be formulating together, and not just even like I said, a black and white thing. It's more
right.
just
And
like
so here's the difference between me coming back a decade and saying this ain't the way it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be like this. And these folks right now, 10 years later, coming here and saying, you know what, this is the way it's gonna be. The reason they're able to come with force like that is because they came over here together. They saw the potential of it, and they came to conquer. It's happening right now. Does that make me a slave because I did not have that? Does that make me a lesser man because I did not have that force to come and just cause change the way that these organizations are coming to cause change? No, but I have to accept the fact that these are true organizations that take measure beyond measure to be able to close the deal and make it worth the while. Sometimes we'll sit and we'll talk each other to death before it's like the game is over. Why are we still talking about the play?
Because that's what we've been taught. But hold on, family. Now I'm gonna have to bring this to the end because we approaching. God damn. Well, God bless. I want to thank everybody for calling. We are at an hour and 41 minutes. I've been on my. Well, I ain't really been on my feet. I've been arguing with young people all day, and I'm tired. And I don't want to argue with Lady J no more because she just be starting shit on purpose, just for no
Yeah, you
reason.
heard what these people said.
Ain't nobody agree with you. Ain't nobody agree
I
with you.
said that, and yeah, okay. In reality, they did.
Oh
In
yeah,
reality,
your
they did.
reality.
The question I posed was, um, do you think that these places exist? And both of them agreed that they did.
No, wait,
And
hold on, hold on. Wait, ain't nobody gave an address. Ain't
you and
nobody gave
I
a
have
zip
both
code.
agreed that.
They said they did. They gave you an answer, as Shaka would say, in a speculative fashion. I imagine
Okay.
so.
So
I
can
mean,
I
that's the
say a
same
good
shit you
night?
say. You know, I
Can I say a good night?
go. I mean, I'm gonna give you a second to say good night, baby. Y'all all just need to understand you can't escape blackness. I mean, we can go and cover it up with makeup. You know what I'm saying? Especially, and you can't
What are you
escape.
talking
You
about?
can't escape DOS blackness, especially because we ain't got nowhere to go. So I'm just being clear. I just want family. We need to be clear on that. That's why I keep on talking about circling these wagons and building. I mean, and like I said, it started off speculative, but it's some blocks being moved by a couple of us. And maybe we will develop that place that Lady J keeps fantasizing about. But as of right now, ain't no goddamn place. Everybody just speculates there's a place. But oh, my fault. I did see it. You know what, Lady J? I did see it. I think it's called Negro Land, and
Hey, real talk. Uh, we
Key
are
and
in the
Peele,
midst of
Negro
the
Land.
Great Awakening.
Go ahead.
We are in the midst of the Great Awakening. I continue to do something every day in support of the movement. I met Mr. Charles E. Tennant. Do you know who that is, Atim?
No.
No. So this man is responsible for the Afrocentric school.
You don't want my opinions.
Responsible.
You don't want my opinions on that shit. But go ahead.
He's responsible for it. He's responsible for getting the $45 million that was needed to build the school. He set he gave a request on, he wanted 80% of the teachers to be black with 20% white. He fought for that. Now, with the new building, he actually said he's very close to that, according to him, right? But he is an activist. And I just want to throw
So how
out
long
there
you been
tonight
involved? Wait, how long
that
you been
we have
involved? How long you been involved with the Afrocentric School?
since it's, what do you mean? Since it was thought of.
You talking about when it was over in Old Mohawk?
When it was conceived, the idea of it being conceived, correct? The money, $45 million
No,
is what
you
he got. The
and
government to give
so
him
you
for
are you
that
talking about
school.
the new building or you talking about over at Mohawk?
I'm talking about period. The
No,
conception. He's
no.
responsible for it. It's his ingenuity.
Time out, time out, time out, time out. Now, I don't know this guy and I could be wrong. But are you aware that there was an Afrocentric school? You got to know there was an Afrocentric school at the
Of
old
course I
Mohawk.
know that. Of
So
course I know
that
that. And
building
I'm
ain't
saying
cost
that
45
that
million. So
school,
I'm asking
when it came to,
how long has he been involved with the Afrocentric school? Since the inception of Afrocentric school over there?
from its conception,
And what's his name?
Charles E. Tennant.
All right, I asked one of my elders about him because I know an elder that was deeply involved with that. Matter of fact, I got two or three of the elders. One of them come over. One of them I was just at the school with, or today at my school with today. So I asked him
Mm-hmm.
about that because I need some clarity on that. But go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So all that to say that that we do have things that we are doing that is right, and there are places that are segregated where people of color are living in what we might, I'm not going to make this a fantasy world, but I'm going to say somewhat of a utopia compared to what we're living like. And I'm going to say that those are small pockets of communities, societies, where it is organized and it's orderly.
I want you to set up a tour of
And
these places because we can make money
the
doing
people
it.
are
Me
not
and you.
acting, the people are not acting like beasts.
Hey, set up the trips. You know these locations because you keep talking about them. We could do bus trips.
I could name them, but I just like that you act like they don't exist, like it's not of your people. We've done it many times.
No, I'm not acting like it's not of my people. I'm just looking at the numbers. I'm
Yeah.
dealing with the numbers. I'm seeing
Yeah.
the numbers. I'm seeing
Hey,
the
and
median wealth.
let me just say, some of these places exist. I'm not saying that they got all the money or even that they in the black, but they got peace amongst each other because in the lay of the land, they understand who is who and what is what. And so I say all that because on a certain side of the short north or the certain side of any uh you know well y'all all right, Columbus ain't got no projects. But all I'm saying is that like in a project in a big city, even when you look at the way that the drug dealers and the ones who are cultivating drugs, you know what I mean? Sometimes they take a young sister who has a little flat on Section 8 or whatnot, and they grow there, and they chip her off for growing there. And it's like, it's 20 other flats that's doing the same thing. Like I said, I'm talking about something illegal, but I'm saying that at the same time, when you look at the setup, they all helping each other out to be able to maintain a certain level of peace within. And like I say,
We can't tour that, Chaka.
City,
But I hear you.
not every city, huh?
I mean, like what we had kind of over at Gye-Nyame house. That shit don't count.
Right.
That shit don't count. That ain't what she talking about. Stop putting fuel on that fire, man. That ain't what she talking about. She talking about I want to see this metropolis. She talking about a metropolis where we control everything, right? People are Negro land. I want to go. I want to be on the bus. I'm getting the ticket. Once we set up the trip,
Man, I done already said that. Hey, you got church congregations. They stay to themselves. They chip in the bucket every now and again. You know what I mean? They put in on the roof fund, and they maintain the resources that if they don't have it, they at least believe they do. So belief is what empowers everything. You know, it, and I say that to make this major point. Hey, nation building ain't necessarily got to be rocket science.
It's not. It's not.
You know what I mean?
It's very. I mean, it's
I
very
mean,
basic. It's very simple. You just got to be willing to do what you got to do. So go and say your goodbyes so I
I
can
mean,
go.
all right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for. But you, I mean, yo, I'm shocked and by. Like, I think I just said it all.
He said, "I'm shocked and by." See, that's when you know people know who you. He can just come on the show and be like, "Hey, I'm Shaka and by. I'm Hot Tim. I'm still in that shit. I'm Hot Tim and by. I want to thank you for joining us on the Congregation of the Mighty. This is Gye-Nyame Journey Media. This is a Heart of a Silver production. Just finished day 50 on that tribal quotes. And we strive to blow up those old paradigms. Thanks to everybody that tuned in. Thank you to the people that called in. Shouts out to Demetrius Miller. Shouts out to Lady J. Shouts out to Brother Shaka. Shouts out to some other people on here that made some comments. Shouts out to Sister Cynthia, because I seen you up there, and thank you for shouting us out. Thanks to everybody that shared what we're doing, whether you shared it before the show or whether you listened all the way up to this point. I'm asking you to share, like, and share. You know what I'm saying? Follow Gye-Nyame Journey on Facebook, like us, and share what we do on YouTube, Periscope, and all that other. You know what I'm saying? Y'all have a good night. And I love each and every last one of you. And with that, Brother Hot Tim says good night. Who's still on the phone?
Peace.
Peace.